How come the Romans could not conquer Germania Magna easily, considering the region was not united and the local tribes would fight each other all the time? Similarly, why did the Chinese not conquer the Mongol tribes before Genghis Khan happened? And why did they let Genghis Khan unite the tribes? Why did both these powers, like the Romans and the Chinese, choose to engineer fights between the tribes but could not conquer the tribes? Why engineer fights among them? Why not just conquer the land and rule the land? Well, there has to be something worthwhile in the land to conquer. Let's go to the map. We'll talk about Germania Magna first. What is Germania Magna? It's the present day land of Germany. Okay, what's called Germany today? Where did the name Germany come from? It came from Germania. Latin. Germania Magna means Great Germany. So, we're talking about Germany essentially. Germany is a newly formed artificial nation, by the way. It was formed in 1871. Before that, there was no Germany. So this region is what the Romans called Germania Magna. Switzerland was part of what they called Gaul. North and east of Gaul, you had Germania Magna. Now, see, the Romans conquered the whole of Gaul, which is France and Switzerland. Why did they conquer it? It was full of fertile land, great agricultural land. The Gaul had a large population, and you could make the population work. You could make them do agriculture. You could collect great amounts of taxes from them, and you could bring them into the armed forces or use them as slaves. So, and so many other uses for these people in their land. So the entire land of France, which was called Gaul and Switzerland, it was very valuable for Rome. It was a source of great riches. So was Iberia. Very valuable land, tremendous riches from there. They also got a lot of gold, the metal from Iberia. But when it comes to Germany, it was this land that was full of forests. A heavily forested land. You had forests all over the place. You had hills all over the place. And you had small population groups, tribes that were scattered all over the place. There were no great resources available in Germania. Swampy, marshy terrain, streams and rivers all over the place, hills everywhere, and forests. And wild people living in small tribal groups. How do you conquer these people? You go and attack them, they will just disperse into the forest for months, disappear. What do? How do you conquer them? And there are no big cities, not even towns, just scattered villages. And there are no resources there that can make your empire rich. It will cost you way more to administer the land than, so it's and you will get nothing out of it. So it is a net negative for the empire to conquer and administer the land. First of all, can't be conquered unless you deforest the whole land, which will take so much manpower and so much time. Why do that? Right? So that's why they never bothered to conquer Germany. They tried a few times and then they realized it's not worth our time. Right? And of course they did face some setbacks, like the Battle of Teutoburg Forest, which was one of the few times the Germanic tribes united under Arminius, who was a German, but who had been who had learned the Roman ways because he lived in Rome for a while. So that was in 10 AD or something, the Battle of Teutoburg Forest, and that was a disaster for Rome. But eventually, so what the Romans decided is that we will not conquer the land, we will not administer it, we'll just keep them fighting each other so that they don't become a nuisance for us. Keep them divided, keep them fighting each other, let it go on, and we will just ensure that they don't spill over into the territories we control. So it did not make sense for them to conquer this land and administer it, because they would get nothing out of it. If you don't have a population of several millions, how do you collect taxes? If you're not getting taxes, then you're spending more on administration, and you'll lose soldiers here and there. It's not worth your time. That's why they did not bother to conquer Germania Magna. They gave up eventually. They said it's not worth our time. It's not worth the headache. That's why Rome said, okay, we don't need Germania Magna. Now, similarly, why did the Chinese not conquer the Mongol tribes? Once again, Mongolia's population was what? 1 million? 2 million? Spread across a gigantic territory. Population density, next to nothing. What could the Chinese get out of Mongolia? What resources? Would they get gold? Would they get timber? Would they get something of value? Nothing. It's an empty land from a Chinese perspective. From a Mongol perspective, it's their sacred homeland. And they knew how to live in that land. They knew how to subsist off the land. For the Chinese, there was nothing of value in Mongolia. Nothing at all. So why bother to conquer the land? It will take so much time, resources, energy, effort, and money to administer the land, which is empty. And the tribes once again will disperse whenever they are challenged. They'll disperse and disappear for weeks or months, and then they will come back and again attack you. Guerrilla tactics, ambush tactics. Why waste your time over that? It's not worth your time. That's why the Chinese decided that we will not conquer Mongolia. We will simply keep the Mongols fighting each other. Okay? And that's why they had this policy for centuries. Sow division among the Mongols. Keep them fighting each other. Keep punishing them from time to time with punitive raids. Capture their leaders, execute them, torture them, whatever. Do it from time to time to send the message to the Mongols that China is not to be messed with. You stay in your land, and the Chinese would keep them fighting each other. They would send one ambassador to one tribe, another to a different tribe, and create enmity, create hostility. They knew how to play the politics. And that's how the Mongolians kept fighting each other for centuries. Now, why did the Chinese allow Genghis Khan to unite the tribes? This unification of the tribes happened over a very short period of time, 20 years. Before the Chinese knew anything, it had happened. 20 years is a very short period of time, actually speaking, geopolitically speaking. The Chinese always had this conception that the Mongols are a bunch of ragtag idiots. We know how to deal with them. We'll keep them fighting each other. We have ambassadors here and there, and we'll just keep it going. They had no idea that in a short period of 20 years, Mongolia will turn into a ginormous beast and essentially eat China alive. So it happened before they realized what was happening. One fine day, the Mongols turn up at your doorstep. And then what do? That's what happened.